Well, welcome back to Really Ringwood.
Welcome.
We are in the thick of election season now, and is it just me, or does it seem like we have an entirely new town council?
Yeah.
The Borough Council seems like they are willing to try a lot of new things and listen to community input, and that doesn't seem like the council that's been here the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty stark contrast to all of the silence and closed doors that the town's been kept under for the past several years. And then all of a sudden, what year is it? It's an election year.
And it's an election year with 5 seats up?
With 5 seats up. Not just the majority, but a supermajority up for election.
Yeah.
So a little curious about why there's suddenly this stark change in how the council's addressing town issues and trying to make promises and deliver and have all of these updates just a few months before Election Day.
Yeah. As you've likely seen, both sides of the political aisle are starting to send out literature about their campaigns for the upcoming election. We will be looking at the Democratic platform in a future episode, but it is admittedly much easier to propose new plans without the burden of having to back up your past accomplishments, so we felt that it was important to look back at the prior few election cycles and see what the Republicans who are running for re-election this year promised they would do, and see how true their campaign promises were.
So let's start back a few years ago in 2017. This was the first election for Deputy Mayor Jamie Mateo Landis, who's up for re-election this year. Now, Councilwoman Mateo Landis was in the position for less than a year before this mailer went out, so it's understandable that there are less town politics bona fides to share, but aside from PTO membership and interning with the Ringwood Recreation Department, there's nothing on this mailer to really tell us why she'd be a good council member. But it isn't her bio that I really want to draw attention to. It's the bio of former councilman William Marsala. His bio mentions that he was, quote, instrumental in passing the 10-ton weight limit on Skyline Drive. This seems like a very popular Republican idea in town, since Councilwoman Mateo Landis lists enacting a similar weight limit on Stonetown Road. While we applaud these actions and are thankful for safer roads, when these are two of the only concrete examples given of successes by two separate candidates, it shows just how little has been done by the council.
Yeah, it's, for all these years in power to only have a couple little things to mention, it seems like it's, maybe a way of trying to stretch the import of what happened there.
Exactly. It just seems like there's not a lot to be able to be proud of that you accomplished.
Right. Now, in 2019, the ads took on a much more aggressive tone from a candidate's question of sharing emergency services with other towns. That led to a photo of a literal masked intruder breaking into your house. There was also mailers that were criticizing Democrats for being aligned with people like Governor Murphy and other state Democratic officials. And very noticeably in this cycle, there's almost no touting of what the council members had done in a prior term.
Right.
In fact, their plan is all about rejecting things and one vague mention of continuing to keep Ringwood affordable.
I'm not really sure what they mean by keeping Ringwood affordable. I don't know if you've looked at your property tax bill this year, but I don't know that I'd call it affordable.
No, and without any real plan attached to it, it just seems like a platitude that's easy to put out there.
Right. Now, it's hard to prove that any of the things that the GOP was fighting against actually happened or would have actually happened. So these mailers are a great example of just using scare tactics and not outlining a clear plan for what they will do if and when elected.
2021 saw the same attack style ads as 2019, taken up a notch in the personal attack department, but these mailers were from candidates that aren't running for re-election this year. However, there is one point that seems like it needs to be refuted, and that is their claim that their actions led to a 99% senior vaccination rate during the first year and a half of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, as acknowledged during a council meeting, it was a group of Ringwood volunteers who did most of the heavy lifting to get the town vaccinated. Seniors were told they were on, quote, a list from the town, and that the borough was hoping to provide a mobile vaccination site, but that mobile site never happened. In addition, it was volunteers who helped get members of Upper Ringwood, as well as the school staff for Ringwood schools, vaccinated. While the borough no doubt helped, the claim is an exaggeration at best and stolen valor at worst.
But aside from that, the mailer has more "we will" statements rather than "we have" statements. Again, the burden of proof is on the party who had power, and there is very, very little proof of them having really done anything in the past 4 election cycles.
In 2022, Councilwoman Michelle Kerr was running for a 1-year term after serving a 1-year term after being appointed in January. Her mailer is honestly the exact opposite of the ones from years past, with lots of salient points about what she's done on council, specifically her work with veterans. While there's still a little mudslinging of past Democratic council members, this feels like the first mailer in recent memory to have actual analysis of the job done.
So this begs the question, What will the tone of this year's mailings be? We've gone through the past few years and a few patterns have emerged. Lack of concrete plans, claiming victory for things that simply aren't true, and going negative.
A member of the Board of Education recently posted on a Facebook thread that Democrats in town are, quote, good for bashing people. That's all they know. Their past will haunt them. But we have shown that Republicans, specifically the Republicans who have ran and won in the past, have used attack ads. And we'll be discussing a letter from a Republican currently on the board that went after Democrats already in this cycle in a future episode.
In stark contrast to this, the first mailing for A Fresh Start for Ringwood, the Democratic candidates running for council, is informative, and it doesn't have any negativity whatsoever on it. We'll be discussing this mailing too in a future episode.
Will the Republicans take the high road with their first campaign literature? We'll find out next time.